So, from the title of this video, you can probably already tell what this is going to be about. So, as many of you will already know, yesterday was the announcement for the Series X, or at least a live stream for it, showing off some of the games for it, and it was underwhelming to say the least. Now, of course, some decent games such as Halo Infinite and Fable were announced, but the problem came with the announcement that all of these games coming out at launch, holiday 2020, are going to be available on the Xbox One as well as the Series X, alongside being released on PC. Now, at launch, this means if you own an Xbox One, there is absolutely no reason to buy a Series X unless you want the upgrade. In fact, if you have a PC, there is also no reason to buy a Series X, seeing as you can play all these games at launch as well. Now, in terms of console sales, this means PS5 is more than likely going to skyrocket over Xbox Series X in terms of sales. In fact, I was talking to two GameStop employees who said in their store, at the very least, PS5 has 10 times more pre-orders than Xbox Series X. Now, you might think this spells disaster for Microsoft at this point, but there is a catch. This console war is going to be anything but traditional. Now, since halfway through the Xbox One's life cycle, Microsoft has been advertising Xbox as more of a service rather than a console or certain family of consoles. Now, this is actually a quite smart move on Microsoft's part. The cost of producing consoles is quite high, and consoles are also usually sold at a loss for most companies, so not having to sell as many consoles and putting the games on PC makes it more profitable for Microsoft in the end. Putting on multiple platforms also branches out the audience you can have, as well as making it more accessible to people who have less money due to the fact that the Xbox One S is so cheap at the moment. Instead of focusing on one console, Microsoft are going the route of a service like Netflix, where they can simply stream or let you download games, whether that be on PC or Xbox One, rather than forcing you to go out and buy the Series X for €500+. Now, what does this mean for the next generation? Now, I'm going to be honest. For the first maybe 2 years of this generation coming forth, I'd say PS5 is going to absolutely trump Xbox. I'd say even at launch, Series X in the first 3 months is going to struggle to get maybe even 1 million sales. But that's in terms of console sales. In terms of players, especially on Xbox Live and Xbox Game Pass, I think Xbox is consistently going to go up and up and up. Game Pass has already been proven to work on PC, and now that there's a cheaper alternative in form of buying an Xbox One S, Game Pass is going to be more accessible than ever to the masses. I think this generation coming is truly going to be the big step into the digital era of gaming. Although digital gaming has existed for quite a while now, with the advent of both streaming and download services, as well as digital-only consoles, it's truly seeming like physical video games are slowly becoming a thing of the past. In terms of who's going to win in terms of console sales, it's more than likely going to be Sony with the PS5. But Xbox with Game Pass, especially with how accessible it is going on its own path, which I can see Sony soon following. Although Sony have PlayStation now, it is yet to launch on PC, but I can see it launching onto PC eventually. The problem with this is Microsoft have such a grip on the PC market that it may be difficult for Sony to gain traction, especially at this point in time. Yet the longer they leave it, the longer Microsoft has to tighten its grip on the PC market. Now, at the end of the day, the gaming landscape is rapidly changing, and they're just my thoughts on some of the things that could happen in the next generation. Now, overall, I think the PS5 had a better lineup of games. More than likely, I'm going to buy a PS5 over an Xbox, even though I've been Team Xbox for the majority of my life. Although I will eventually buy a Series X, currently, I don't really see the need to. I already own an Xbox One. I can play most of these games coming out, so I don't really see the reason to buy an Xbox Series X. And more than likely, that's the case with many other Xbox owners at the moment. Although I don't particularly like the fact that Microsoft are solely concentrating on Game Pass now rather than putting out proper exclusives, I can see why they're doing it. They're a company after all, and they're going to do what is most profitable for them at the end of the day. Now, they're just my thoughts and opinions on this subject. Of course, it could go the completely opposite way. Xbox could get a huge amount of sales. But from the reaction to yesterday's live stream, it doesn't look like it's going to be on that way. Anyway, guys, I'd like to thank you again for watching and listening to my little rant slash opinion piece. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, possibly subscribe, and man, let's get back out.